Welcome back to the Undead Empire, where I build my human empire army for one-page rules regiments, and possibly an Empire of Man force for Warhammer the Old World, if Hobby Dungeon Andrew has his way. This is episode 2. After knocking out a big block of infantry and perhaps the most dangerous unit in the game in the last episode, I figured it was time to put together some cavalry, maybe some lance-bearing knights. 6th edition is what I most associate with Warhammer Fantasy. It's what was current when I first became aware of tabletop wargames. And what always stuck out to me for the Empire was the pomp and frivolous look to the units. Feathers and puffy shirts abound. It's still there in the later editions and in Warhammer the Old World, but not to the same degree. All that to say that the Empire always gave me distinct conquistador vibes. So for my Guard Knights, I needed to use this Conquistador cavalry kit from Wargames Atlantic. Barded horses, armored riders, lances, and shields. Perfect. My initial list calls for 2 units of 5 knights, and this kit has enough horses to make a dozen knights. However, it actually has an extra rider on each sprue. So with a few more horses, I'll be able to knock out an additional unit down the road, should I decide to go with a more cavalry-heavy list. After assembling my 2 units of knights, I figured it was time to make a general, some sort of centerpiece model. In Warhammer, the Empire of Man generals are often mounted on griffins, but I wanted something bigger. I really wanted a dragon. Of course, I didn't have one kicking around, so in an effort to keep this army inexpensive, I went discount toy shopping and found this cheap, rubbery plastic dragon. A bit large perhaps, but it fit on the 100 by 150mm base for dragons and regiments. Fitting our general's saddle on this big old dragon's neck only required a small amount of scale surgery. As it turned out, the neck was nearly the same width as the Wargames Atlantic horses. After giving the general a sword and a shield, and head with visor lifted for better yelling of course, I decided he needed a banner. It's not jank and flank without banners. The more comically oversized, the better. I considered going further, adding more bits and, well, stuff to the dragon, but decided to leave it nice and simple. Paint and a ginormous banner would be enough. After stealing the same bit that I used for the dog banner bearer in episode 1, I hacked out a big chunk of round sprue and mounted it behind the general. These awesome minis and so many others come from today's sponsor, Wargames Atlantic. Whether you're looking for classic fantasy, dystopian future, or historical 28mm hard plastic miniatures, Wargames Atlantic has got you covered. I've been using their kits for a couple of years, mostly as kit bash fodder, as they've got so many excellent bits that are all interchangeable. Add futuristic weapons to historical minis? No problem. Skull heads for virtually anything? Yep, that too. And recently, I've been building entire armies for very reasonable prices with their kits. If you'd like to get some for yourself, head to the link in the description. There's absolutely no cost to you, but it will toss a coin to your witcher, which is me. Thanks Wargames Atlantic for supporting independent creators. Now, back to the jank and flank. If you missed the first episode of this little series, this human empire army is all ghosts, fighting alongside the Empire of Man until such time as they can break the curse placed on them long ago, and finally rest. This ghostly paint job starts with dark magenta, hosing down these weirdos with an all-over layer of it. Then a zenithal highlight of jade green, focusing primarily on the fronts of the minis, just hitting the backs from above, helping to create some directional light as the back retains more magenta than the front of each model. Next up is the dry brush and ghost green, using a light touch, really just looking to enhance the lighting already created and add a little more definition. As I said in the first episode, this project is all about creating an army quickly and cheaply that slaps on the tabletop. This is purely about playing jank and flank, rolling dice with the buds, and doing so with a painted army. Not everything has to be painted to the best of your ability, or even anywhere close. My Wood Elf army, for instance, has more nostalgia and emotional weight for me, so I'm spending more time painting it. This army was one I wanted to knock out and get on the table real quick. So here we are with some quick and easy techniques. There's always going to be more minis. Paint some quick and sloppy. Smush paint around and have fun. If painting every mini to your best ability is what you enjoy, that's awesome. It's your hobby. You should enjoy it. Hobbying in any way that you don't enjoy is about the only way to do it wrong. Just don't expect everyone to do it the same as you. Although these dudes are ghosts or spectral energy, I wanted to give their armor a bit of a metallic sheen. I grabbed some chainmail silver and gently dry brushed it onto some of the armor and shields. Then, just as I had with the other units, I diluted Purple Swarm speed paint, about 10 parts medium to 1 part paint, and slopped it all over these knights, horses, and the dragon. I find this to be a more effective wash that stains all the surfaces slightly, while really running into the lower sections and recesses, leaving a result that I'm happy with, particularly for little effort or time invested. After considering the bases from the first couple of units, I really like the contrast of this dark base ready mix from Kraut Cover and these very bright yellow flower tufts from the Army Painter. I think the sparing use of these bright pops of color are what makes the bases work. To ensure all the basing stays in place, I just diluted matte Mod Podge pretty heavily with water and hose the base down. Then add the tufts, paint the base rims, and they're ready for battle on the tabletop. Finally, our general and dragon needed a giant banner. Something befitting of this jank and flanked beast. I remembered seeing this art for Ghost's newish album, Skeleta, and knew it would be perfect. Fire up the 2D printer, a little cutting, gluing, and burning, and we've got one comically oversized, but on brand for this force, banner. And just like that, we've got a few more units for this Empire of the Undead army. I'm closing in on having another finished one-page rules regiment's army. Most importantly, I've really been enjoying quickly slapping some paint on these freaks, making them ghostly, and getting them into some jank and flank. I'm particularly happy with this beast of a dragon. If you're looking to kit bash some monsters, be on the lookout for cheap kids' toys. You really never know what you're gonna find for $1 to $10, but you'll generally find something. Thanks again to Wargames Atlantic for supporting independent creators. Be sure to check out their excellent stuff at the link in the description. And most importantly, thanks for watching. You are awesome.